Live PvP, a game mode that I know a lot of you want to see come to My Hero Ultra Impact, and I can see why. It adds a lot more enjoyment in terms of the content in the game. You can then face off against actual real people instead of facing bots every single time, whether it be an arena or just practically any PvE content. You know, it does add that extra bit of enjoyment factor to playing the gacha games. And it does add some downsides a little bit too, but we're going to discuss that here in today's video. I'm more so not really wanting this game to add live PvP, and there are some indications as to why live PvP probably will not happen in this game, but we're going to discuss that here in today's video. And I do have some points of, if they do add live PvP, I have some suggestions into what they could do to where it's not tailoring all the summons just towards PvP. I don't want to see this game end up like something like Legends or Grand Cross, to where it just becomes stale or unenjoyable for majority of the players. So I do have some suggestions, but before we go and get into all of that though, make sure you guys go down there, click that red subscribe button, make sure it says subscribe to the channel, click that bell, turn on all notifications on any future videos, drop a like down below, and comment your suggestions that you would like to see in live PvP to kind of make the game mode a bit enjoyable for everybody, but not totally breaking the game, if that makes sense. So live PvP, again, I said this already, everyone wants this mode because it's not just bots every single time. Ultra Arena is fun. You get 10 tries per day, which is, you know, relatively, you know, you're probably not playing more than 10 times. You're probably just going in, doing your dailies, and it's like, all right, I'm pretty much done. Don't really want to do much more unless you're like a whale and you're just using your gems to increase your stamina and whatnot. But Ultra Arena, it is kind of like, in a way, Dokkan Battles World Tournament, kind of, not entirely. It is just ultimately a ranking based mode, just like VE Tower is a rank based mode, to where the higher you rank, the more rewards you get. Similar to Ultra Arena, the higher you place, the more rewards you get. Now, rewards aside, I know a lot of people have their opinions about the rewards for PvP or Ultra Arena in this game. So those aside, not talking about those here today. Yes, I do believe they could increase those dramatically for a lot of players, especially the higher ranking players. So I do agree with that. But in terms of the content, with them only releasing one event per banner, the summon banner every couple weeks or so, you know, USJ and then the VE Tower kind of rotating off here and there, it's not really long-term sustainable content. And I'm not saying that because I dislike it. I like VE Tower, I like USJ. It adds a lot of difficulty just for the PvE value of the game. So I do like how over the course of the game's release, since the JP version, they've actually improved USJ, they've improved VE Tower, and especially with the rewards that you can buy in the shops and whatnot. I do like that they are focusing on those modes, as well as the arena and stuff. But what if they add live PvP? Live PvP for this turn-based action RPG kind of game, right? How would they do this for this game? Well, you could say they could go the Grand Cross route, because that is also a turn-based, you know, similar card style type of game, right? They could do it like that. I do have some suggestions that they could take from other games that they could then have that, you know, improve the PvP system a little bit. Now, I know that a lot of you are like, well, ultimately whales are going to win. The more you whale, the more stars you're going to get, the more you're going to develop your characters and whatnot. So whales are ultimately, especially in the higher rankings, going to just dominate the PvP meta, right? So yes and no. More so yes, because that's any gacha game. Any gacha game, whales are going to dominate the game regardless, because they want people to spend money. That's their objective of the game, is for them to spend money. So yeah, most of the time for Ultra Arena, you really don't have to whale too much. I'm gonna go ahead and use my free daily single, by the way. But you don't have to whale, really. I mean, I've seen non-heavy whale players in the higher rankings of Ultra Arena in this game, especially even in VE Tower and stuff like that, right? So you don't ultimately have to like spend thousands of dollars just to be top rank in this game at all. You don't have to do that. When it comes to live PvP, they could tailor it to where that becomes more apparent. And for live PvP, if they want to make dupes a thing for this game, they could do that. They could make it to where characters' dupe systems, or the star system, is more in depth. They could add on to that system. They could then say, well, now you need 5 dupe of the characters to then unlock page 5, page 7, page 9. You need 5 total dupes to unlock all your pages now. And, you know, of that exact character, the way that works now for dupes is that you can use dupes of any character. Like you see here, this Momo gave me 2 stars. You can use those stars on any character you want. They could then turn that around and go, well, how about you actually pull 5 of that exact character, then you can unlock this page, that page, and that page. That would suck. In terms of the way this game's dupe system works, this is by far one of the better dupe systems in the game, regardless how you feel about rates. I'm not talking about that here today, but for the dupe system in general, this is a really good dupe system in my opinion. But PvP could change that. You never know. They could ultimately change it. It is always subject to change. Nothing is the same forever generally, but again, they could change that. Hopefully they don't. If they do add live PvP, hopefully they do not add that. That would be the preferred thing they don't do, is not adding dupes. Now, what they could do for live PvP, hey, nice SR. What they could do for live PvP is kind of take from, I hate to go back to this game, but the Strongest Hero, that actually had a decent PvP system to where character dupes don't matter. All characters are on the even playing field of all being at the same, you know, stat stuff and all that sort of whatnot, right? So dupes didn't matter in TSH's live PvP, unless that's changed recently. I've not played the game since like the first month, so I don't know if that's changed at all. I don't think it has, but again, that could change. But in my opinion, if they were to do live PvP, make it to where all characters are at their either maximum or minimum or whatever, right? So whenever you go into live PvP in My Hero Ultra Impact, you're going to go in there with your characters at maximum potential, max limit break, max ADV, everything. All of your memories, your units are maxed in the fight of PvP. That would be the better way to go about it. And that would create an even playing field to where you're not heavily dependent on pulling this, that, or the other, or duping out your character or potential boarding your character or whatever, right? So that is one thing I would say that I would like to see them do if they did do live PvP. Now, another thing is what Dragon Ball Legends does. However you feel about Dragon Ball Legends and its PvP system, it's not the fantastic way, but they could do this. I feel like this part of the Dragon Ball Legends PvP system does work, and it could do well for this game, where you have boost characters, where you could see even R units getting boosted in this, to where if you use R boosted characters, you get not only rank points, but you also get medal drop increases from the boost characters that you use on your team. That would be a fantastic way to then kind of, you know, get people to use different characters. Maybe not R characters all the time, but at least other SR characters, or, you know, other characters in general, whether, you know, it's someone that's not particularly used too much. Like if you use Blue Sue, the UR character, you know, maybe she's not used quite a lot in PvP. They could then be like, okay, Sue for this month of PvP, she is a boost character, meaning you get double medal drops, you get double rank points or whatever if you have her on your either your main team or just your team in general. It could be, they could do it to where it's your main 3 team or at least your subunits. Again, I don't see them doing it that way. I would say it just has to be on your team in general, whether it be on your main or sub team, right? So I don't think they would kind of specify it that way. That's just my opinion, right? I don't see them specifying it, but they could do it to where if you have this character on your team, whether it be sub slot or not, that character gives you a boost to your medal drops and your points. Because right now in Ultra Arena, when you're facing off against, you know, you're doing a fight and whatnot, either your points and your drops are based off of getting a perfect or not a perfect. If you don't get a perfect, you get less points, you get less medals, and that's pretty much it. There's no real way to boost your points. It can also make grinding these points ridiculously slow, especially the more you move up. So if they have boosted characters to increase those points, to increase the drops of the medals, I think that would do fairly well. Also to see different units in PvP as well. Now, I know that the meta-defining characters for PvP are definitely going to be the most used regardless, even if they're boosted or not. But they could do that in that way in some shape or form. So another thing that they could add is obviously take what 7 Deadly Sins does and add a timer. Because I don't want to sit there for like 20 minutes waiting for one player to make one move or one set of their moves, right? Just to do their turn. So make it to where their timer, let's say, I mean, this is generally any turn-based game, right? I think like Pokemon is turn-based, Seven Deadly Sins, all that sort of stuff. So I don't think that's outside of the realm of possibilities. I think turn-based would be great, especially for live PvP. So if you have a timer, let's say maybe 60 seconds, I think 60 seconds is more than enough to define your turn to get your selected moves and whatnot, right? So I'd say 60 seconds. I think that's more than fair. So we could take that. But I think that would make a decent live PvP experience because, just looking at Dragon Ball Legends, I do not like how their PvP is. Now, granted, even Legends, it's not competitive. When you're playing this game, even Ultra Impact, whatever you're playing, you cannot think of this as a competitive experience. Unless it's like Dragon Ball Fighters, right? If it's Dragon Ball Fighters, that's a competitive experience. But for a gacha game, they're just here to make their money, give you a little bit of stuff to do, and boom. So don't think of live PvP, especially even this game or any other real gacha game, as a competitive experience, because it's just not going to be that. It's going to be a casual based experience. Now, another thing is, will they add live PvP to this game? Again, I am more so not really wanting them to, because I do think that it could change a lot of things for worse, more or less. But again, my suggestions, if they do any of those suggestions that I listed out, whether it be the timer, the boost characters, the unit balancing to where boosted don't matter, every character's maximum boosted when you're going into PvP. That IMO would make it more fair, more enjoyable, and less frustrating ultimately. But will we ever see live PvP? Ultimately, that's up to Bandai. I don't know if we'll ever see live PvP at all come to this game. We may never see it. We may see it in a year from now, 2 years from now. Who really knows? But you got to remember, when this game first released, especially in Japan, this game was heavily advertised as a casual turn-based game. Heavily advertised as a casual game. Now, I know I just said this. PvP in this game or any gacha game should be thought of as a casual experience, not a competitive one. But they do have that competitive experience for those players. Obviously, for Ultra Arena, you have the leaderboard. That's that competitive edge for those people who want to get high in leaderboards for Ultra Arena, VE Tower, and all that stuff. So there is that sort of competitive side to it. But ultimately, I don't think Ultra Impact is meant to be a hardcore play 24/7 grind PvP type of experience. I really don't. Especially the way they were advertising this game, especially since the JP release. The way this game is, I don't see them adding it. At least not right now. I don't see them adding it, at least within the first year, maybe two. But if they do add it, I do hope they heavily think about it hard and just take their time with it and make sure that it's enjoyable for the long term. Because I definitely don't want this game to end up like Dragon Ball Legends PvP experience, where people are constantly upset or just complaining about the experience, especially when it comes to disconnects and all that sort of stuff. I really don't want to hear about that. I really don't want that to happen. Or I guess ping wouldn't matter too much. Just ultimately disconnects, faulty connections, waiting too long, all that sort of stuff, right? Definitely don't want to hear about all that. But again, who knows? But that's just kind of my overall thoughts and opinions. Ultimately, yes, I agree. Live PvP would add more content to the game, especially for us content creators. It could give us another avenue for us to then showcase units for you guys against actual people. So for content creators, especially, yeah, live PvP is good. It's not a bad thing at all in that regard. It will help and it will do a lot. And it is, obviously, it's a gacha game. It's here to make money, and they're going to do what they do best and what they think is best to make that money at the end of the day. But those are just my thoughts and opinions on live PvP. Whether we could or could not see it, who knows? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments down below. If you have suggestions for how they could make live PvP a better experience for everybody, let me know down in the comments down below. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a fantastic day.